It's Leanna McLean reporting with Metroland Media Group, and in this Your Life video series, we are at Pickering Animal Services with the Supervisor of Animal Services, Lindsay Narroway. And in this segment, we're going to discuss identification for your pet. So there's kind of a couple things you should keep in mind, right? Or look into, do some research into.
Yeah, definitely.
So the first one being a license tag, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that is, it's actually a bylaw requirement. And I have an example of one here.
Okay.
If you want to take a look at it. And what it has is, it has the city of Pickering, so it references where the animal is from. It has a phone number, and then it has the tag number.
Okay.
So once the pet's wearing it, we have all of that information put into one of our databases. So if for some reason any animal ever gets lost, 24 hours a day, our staff can go in and we can return the animal home.
Oh, okay.
So that's the first type.
Okay, that's the first type.
Yeah, and it's external.
Oh.
We're talking about one that's an internal identification that you might not even know that the pet has.
So let's talk about that one then.
Okay.
That's a microchip, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
how does this work?
So a microchip is basically a needle that's inserted into the shoulders of the animal.
Okay.
And the actual microchip itself is about the size of a grain of rice.
Okay.
And once that's inserted, it has a number. The microchip companies actually give you a tag.
Okay.
So this is the tag. It's quite big. A lot of people don't actually put the tag number on. So when you look at the animal, if it's a cat that's running around that has lost its collar, you're not going to know it's had the identification.
Right.
So for those cases, the only way that you can actually figure out if it's been microchipped is take them to a vet or take them to one of the animal services.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once we get them, we scan them.
Right.
And the number comes up.
Wow, that's very neat.
Yes.
So this is kind of a new method, would you say? Or
No, actually, it's been around for
a while.
Yeah, for
is
a
it
long
getting more
time.
popular, or it's just always existed?
It has always existed. I think it has gotten a lot more efficient.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I see.
so because there are a few different companies that are out there,
Okay.
as the makers of the microchips.
Right.
But all of those companies now have access to all of the chips,
Oh,
which is good.
that's
so
great.
It used to be
So it's
all
kind of universal.
Yes.
All
yeah.
right.
So that's what makes it, I think, quite good.
Perfect.
And sometimes the collars and things they fall off,
Right.
whereas the microchips.
You're never gonna lose it.
Yeah, they sometimes will migrate, and as with anything, it's not 100%, but typically once they are inserted, they are with the animal all the time, which is really good.
Great. And lastly is a rabies tag too,
Yes,
right?
yeah, and that's the one that people always get confused of. When we call them and we say, listen, do you have a tag? And they go, yeah, we have our license, but it's actually the rabies tag.
Oh,
So
okay.
they look very similar.
What does it look like? Yeah.
The rabies tag, typically, it will change a little bit every year, but it's typically round, and it has reference to the vet clinic.
Okay.
So that's how you know if it's a rabies tag, if it has the vet clinic that the pet is used to go into.
Right.
And that, again, is legislation-based, but that's more to prove that the animal has had its rabies shot.
And do they need to keep re-registering this every year? Is it an annual-based thing? Or?
For the rabies, there are two different types. There's a 3-year rabies vaccine, and there's also a yearly rabies vaccine. So they would have to check with their vet to make sure they know exactly what kind. For us, Pickering Animal License, that's on a yearly basis.
Okay.
And that's a year from the time that they renew, or the time when they purchase. So it's not a calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
And we've made it actually really easy for residents, so they can now go online to get it, which is fabulous. And we will mail them a new tag out. They can go. Yeah, exactly.
They can visit your website. Do you have a website?
Yeah, we do. It's pickering.ca/animals. The one for the licenses is actually pickering.ca/pet tags.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Lindsay. That was very informative. Stay tuned for more in our Your Life video series. This is Leanna McLean reporting with Metroland Media Group.